Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Wednesday, August 27th, 2025, and this is your AM update.
Public safety is not just something that should belong to the wealthy.
Cabinet officials meeting for 3 hours in front of the press, covering everything from the crime crackdown to what President Trump thinks about Taylor Swift's engagement to Travis Kelce. Parents of missing baby Emmanuel Haro appear in court as they are officially charged with his murder.
We are not going to tolerate states that don't comply with the rules that come from this department.
And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy putting 3 states on notice for failing to enforce English proficiency requirements on commercial truck drivers. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM update. You know those movies that tell the stories of real-life heroes with the courage to stand up in the face of indescribable evil and hatred to protect and save others? They're important, especially now when the world seems to need heroes more than ever. Bao, Artist at War, is a film about how art and love can save lives literally and spiritually. It's the remarkable true story of Joseph Bao, a gifted artist and master forger who risked his life to save others during the Holocaust. There, he not only found the strength to survive, but also an unexpected love with Rebecca, a woman whose courage matched his own. Their secret wedding, held inside a concentration camp, was later immortalized in the film Schindler's List. Bao, Artist at War, opens only in theaters for a limited run beginning September 26th. Go to baomovie.com, BAUmovie.com, to watch the trailer, read about Joseph's real-life journey, and find showtimes near you. Visit BAUmovie.com to watch the trailer and learn more, and you can also sign your organization up for group screenings. Again, that's BAUmovie.com. President Trump hosting a marathon cabinet meeting yesterday, cameras rolling for more than 3 hours. Much of the discussion focusing on crime, with the president touting the federal takeover of D.C. police, so far resulting in more than 1,000 arrests and dozens of illegal guns seized. Many in the media hanging on to their narrative that crime in D.C. is not the problem the president insists it is, describing the move as an authoritarian federal overreach. However, President Trump did find at least one grateful member of the press corps, inviting White House correspondent for New Tang Dynasty, or NTD News, Iris Tao, to share her personal experience with crime in the Capitol.
So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. And I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Fox News reporting the administration is set to mobilize 1,700 National Guard troops across 19 states at the invitation of the respective governors. These operations, federally funded, though locally coordinated, part of an expanding effort by the administration to restore law and order in areas where it is badly needed. President Trump calling out Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker for refusing to request National Guard mobilization in Chicago, which suffered 573 murders last year alone.
I would have much more respect for Pritzker if he'd call me up and say, I have a problem, can you help me fix it? I would be so happy to do it. I don't love... Not that I don't have the right to do anything I want to do. I'm the president of the United States. If I think our country's in danger, and it is in danger in these cities, I can do it. No problem going in and solving, his difficulties. But it would be nice if they'd call and they'd say, would you do it?
Typically, the National Guard is requested by a state's governor, though the president does have some limited authority to skirt that requirement. Any move around state leaders would certainly trigger a legal challenge, which Governor Pritzker has already indicated he would file. Vice President J.D. Vance framing public safety as the cornerstone of the administration's agenda.
I happen to believe that maybe the most sacred thing that we can deliver to American workers is the ability to live safely and comfortably in their own neighborhoods. Public safety is not just something that should belong to the wealthy. It should belong to every working man and woman in the United States of America. And because of the work of this administration, that is happening.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem highlighting the staggering savings resulting from self-deportations amid the administration's immigration crackdown.
Sir, you had 1.6 million people voluntarily go home to their home countries that were here in this country illegally. Because of your strong message and you enforcing the law, they decided to go home on their own so that they could come back the right way someday and be American citizens. And the last thing I would say is that it's incredibly important to know that every one of those illegal aliens that has gone home, they were costing us about $8,700 to $9,000 a piece in what they were taking out of our social programs, out of Social Security. You've saved this country billions of dollars, about $15 billion, just in what those illegal aliens were costing us in social programs.
The subject of Lisa Cook also coming up at Tuesday's cabinet meeting. She is the Federal Reserve Board of Governors member who was referred for criminal investigation in mid-August by the nation's top housing finance regulator amid accusations that she committed mortgage fraud. President Trump moved to fire her on Monday. Cook's lawyer saying on Tuesday she will challenge her firing in court. Cook saying she will not be bullied into resigning. She can only be fired for cause, which President Trump clearly thinks he has here, the term not defined in the relevant statute. One reporter asking the president for his reaction.
Are you prepared for a legal fight?
She seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction, because she's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages, and we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
The president also commenting on the plans he announced Monday to allow up to 600,000 Chinese students into America. Many conservatives slamming that announcement. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene questioning on X, quote, "Why are we allowing 600,000 students from China to replace our American students' opportunities?" Mr. Trump on Tuesday doubling down.
We're getting along very well with China, and I'm getting along very well with President Xi. I think it's very insulting to say students can't come here. I like that their students come here. I like that other countries' students come here. And you know what would happen if they didn't? Our college system would go to hell very quickly. Now, with that, we check and we're careful and we see who's there. And Marco wants that. We're in the same position. But we have a tremendous college system, the best in the world. Nobody even close. That's why China sends them here.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick on Fox explaining what the president meant by the college system would go to hell without foreign students to a skeptical Laura Ingraham.
How is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top, all the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America.
That just helps Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley, and I mean, y'all helping those schools. Why? They're like basically factories of anti-American propaganda. Now they're getting a big influx of cash because of the Chinese students. I mean, I know President Trump has always been very pro-Chinese student. I just don't understand it for the life of me. Those are 600,000 spots that American kids won't get.
And finally, the question Americans are dying to know the answer to. Yes, it was asked by the press at the cabinet meeting. What is Donald Trump's reaction to Taylor Swift's engagement to Travis Kelce?
I have to tell you the biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck.
Thank you.
I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
A diplomatic response, as Taylor Swift not only endorsed Kamala Harris last year, but previously accused Mr. Trump of, quote, stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism. After Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, Trump posted online that he hates her, and in May posted that she is no longer hot following his earlier post. Coming up, parents of missing baby Emmanuel Haro officially charged with murder. And an online petition in support of an illegal alien truck driver charged with killing 3 people while pulling an illegal U-turn racks up millions of signatures. Listen to this. Brickhouse Nutrition's Labor Day sale just went live. For a few days only, you can save 25% on everything with code LABORDAY25. Start fall off strong, reboot your health, and save big. And this massive sale includes their best-selling weight loss formula, Lean. Brickhouse Nutrition says doctor-formulated Lean helps turn excess fat into energy, reduces appetite, and curbs cravings. Lean could help you reach your weight loss goals without needles or prescriptions. Plus, you can also find Field of Greens there, a superfruit and veggie drink that promises your doctor will notice your improved health or they'll give you your money back. Plus, favorites like Radiance, their Super Collagen Booster, and even the new Brickhouse Whey Protein, it's all on sale, 25% off. But only for a few days. Kick off fall feeling stronger and more confident than ever. Head to brickhousenutrition.com. Use code LABORDAY25 for 25% off. brickhousenutrition.com, code LABORDAY25. The parents of missing baby Emmanuel Haro, 32-year-old Jake, and 41-year-old Rebecca Haro, each charged on Tuesday with 1 count of murder. Both defendants also charged with the misdemeanor for willingly filing a false police report. Bail has been set at $1 million apiece. The criminal complaint alleging the murder was committed as early as August 5th, 9 days before baby Emmanuel was reported missing. Rebecca reported her 7-month-old son missing on August 14th, claiming she was attacked by an unidentified person who said "Hola" before knocking her out and stealing her baby. Investigators executing search warrants at the Haro home, seizing electronic devices and a vehicle, also collecting troves of security footage from surrounding businesses. Quickly zeroing in on the parents, arresting them Friday morning on suspicion of murder. Emmanuel's remains have yet to be recovered. Jake, spotted on Sunday afternoon in Moreno Valley wearing handcuffs and a red jumpsuit, escorted by investigators as they searched for the body. Private investigator Steve Fisher, who has been closely tracking this case, telling the Law and Crime Network Monday about the difficult task now facing the recovery team, and a warning what he describes is graphic.
How much could law enforcement find when it comes to actually locating the remains of Emmanuel Haro?
Well, it's going to depend if he's above or below ground. So let's say he's above ground, which is what it looked like how they were looking yesterday. We've been in a heat wave here, and this is already a hot part of Southern California. So 100-degree weather, if it's been a month, a small child, a decomp process will happen pretty quick. And then also this type of area, there's predators out here. There's coyotes, mountain lion, there's all types of stuff out here. So, and that we see in search and rescue all the time. Predators will spread remains and whatnot. However, cadaver canines can still pick up that scent. And, so they would be able to find something. And from there, kind of piece it together.
The search is ongoing. News Nation reporting that Jake and Rebecca's arraignment will take place on September 4th. That's when they are expected to enter a plea. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy on Tuesday putting 3 states on notice, saying they are out of compliance with English language proficiency requirements, or ELPs, for commercial drivers. Drivers operating across state lines must be able to read and speak English well enough to converse with law enforcement, understand traffic signs, and complete paperwork. Secretary Duffy issuing new guidance to enforce ELPs for truckers in May. The issue was thrust into the spotlight in August when an illegal migrant truck driver allegedly killed 3 people in Florida while pulling an unlawful U-turn earlier this month. The driver, 28-year-old Harjinder Singh, later failing an ELP assessment, according to DOT records providing correct responses to just 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. Despite his apparent inability to read and understand the language, Singh was granted a commercial driver's license in Washington and then again in California. Here's Secretary Duffy.
We are not going to tolerate states that don't comply with the rules that come from this department: Washington, California, and New Mexico. Those are the three states that have not complied with this rule, which, by the way, this driver in Florida had received a CDL in Washington, California, and was pulled over in July for speeding, and no doubt couldn't speak the English language. And law enforcement in New Mexico did not take his rig out of service. So this one driver touched all 3 states. We are going to give these states 30 days to come into compliance with truck drivers speaking proficiently the English language, or we're going to look at federal funding that they receive under the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program. There are other actions that we can take to make sure states comply, and hopefully in the next 30 days we won't have to withhold any money from them.
The secretary is saying California could lose $33 million in funding under the program, $10.5 million for Washington and $7 million for New Mexico, with a promise of additional steps if these states resist. California Governor Gavin Newsom's press office responding on X, quote, "This is rich. The Trump administration approved the federal work permit for the man who killed 3 people, and now they're scrambling to shift blame after getting caught." Homeland Security has previously called this claim inaccurate, telling Fox's Bill Maloogian that Singh was initially processed for expedited removal from the U.S., then in 2019 was released into the country on bond with a pending asylum claim. He's remained in immigration proceedings ever since. DHS officials saying Singh was granted a work permit under the Biden administration. Singh has been charged in Florida with 3 counts of vehicular homicide. He required an interpreter for his court proceedings. He was denied bond and remains in custody. ICE lodging a detainer to begin deportation proceedings once the Florida case is resolved. A Change.org petition, meantime, gathering more than 3 million signatures in support of, quote, fair sentencing. The organizers, Collective Punjabi Youth, writing, quote, "This was a tragic accident, not a deliberate act. While accountability matters, the severity of the charges against him does not align with the circumstances of the incident." The petitioners hoping for, quote, restorative justice, counseling, or community service. The petition carries no legal weight in court and, of course, fails to mention the glaring no U-turn sign the driver ignored, pulling a stunt any driver would know is begging for disaster, trying to make the U-turn anyway, entirely blocking all lanes of traffic. The approaching motorists had no chance. And now 3 people are dead. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing this week that the U.S. is halting work visas for foreign commercial truck drivers. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show, live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.